Hey there, today I'm going to teach you how to draw Nightwing from Teen Titans Go. So we're going to start in the middle of his face with his nose. So basically we're going to start inside and go across with a short little line. And from this tip, we're just going to curl it back just below that line. So there's his nose. From this edge, I'm going to go in a straight line all the way to the side of his eyes. So I'm just going to try to measure out with my fingers how far the eyes will go. So right about here. So I'll start up on this side and come straight down with a straight line to that nose. And on the opposite side here, I'm just going to try to get to the same height and draw a little dot. And starting on the side of the nose, just above, I'm going to draw a straight line right to that point. And from here, all I got to do is connect this point to here with a downward curve. So I'll just, with my fingers, locate where the bottom of the eyes would go. So right about here, I'm going to start at the top, come down, and slowly curve back up towards that nose. And on this side, I'm going to start on the inside here and just come down to where my finger is and back up to that point. So come down, then back up. Now I can go in and start to thicken the outside of this eye if I want to. I can do it right now. So starting up here, I'm going to go in and start thicken that up with the black outline. And for those that don't know or have been asking what kind of markers I'm using, I'm actually using a fine point Sharpie marker, and you can get this at pretty much any stationery store. And the reason why I like using these is because it just kind of feels like finished art once I'm done using it. Okay, now that we have the eyes in place, I'm going to draw the top of the mouth. So starting on one side here, I'm going to draw an upward curve to the opposite side. And then from the same points, I'm just going to dip down a lower curve, like so. And then on the top row here, I'm just going to double widen that just for the upper row of teeth. And on the side here, I'm just going to curve in a tongue. And I can go in and color the inside in black. Okay, from here, I'm going to start on the profile of the face. So starting on this side, I'm going to locate with my finger at the bottom of the chin. I'm going to go to basically a point. So from right about here, I'm going to curve towards my finger. From this point, I'm going to go out to the jaw with a relatively straight line. So starting at the outside of the jaw, I'm going to come straight into that chin and just try to round out the tip. From this point, I'll round out the jaw up towards the ear. And from here, I'm going to just block in the ear. So the ear is three-pointed. So coming from this point, curving down to a point, curving out to a point, going up to a point. So it's almost like a diamond shape. And then coming back, leaving a gap on the side of the ear. From this point, I'm going to try to imagine this line going up to the side of his head, back down, and then back up to the widow's peak, or the edge of his hair. And from this point, I'm going to come straight down, or with a curve, towards the center of his head. So right about here, just above the nose, and curve down to the widow's peak. And from this, I'm going to curve up towards the top part of his hair. Now from here, I'm just going to finish off the forehead. So I'm going to go up about here and just curve a line towards that eye. Okay, now from this point, I'm just going to do two spikes of hair. So he's got these two sort of spikes, so a short, thin spike, and then a much thicker spike. Kind of looks like that. And from this point, I'm going to go with a curved line to the back of his head. So right about here, I'm just going to curve a line out like that. And this is going to do an opposite curve. His hair basically swings back pretty long, so from this point, I'm just going to curve into that ear. Just for now, I'm not going to do the back yet. Now let's go down to the neck. So from this point, I'm going to locate where the center of his neck is and draw two straight lines coming down. And then from this point, I'm going to curve down on both sides. So here's the shoulders. Now before I do the arms, I'm going to have to block in his chest. So from this point, I want to come out, but I'm going to leave a gap in the middle here. So coming out, so you can see the little gap there. I'll do the same thing on this side. I'll come out, and then I'm going to curve in the rib cages, kind of like that. And from this point, I'm going to come straight down with two lines, into the waist. So now this is where he's got his utility belt. So I can imagine a line, a belt, two lines coming across, but in the center here, I'm going to draw a big circle. And inside that circle, I'll draw a smaller one. Then just below the top of this circle, I'm just going to draw a straight line out on both sides and kind of extend it beyond the sides of the hips. From here, I'll come down on either side, and then I'll just go back into that circle. From here, I'm just going to draw two little hash lines on both sides. Now from here, I'm going to locate the bottom of his hips. So right about here, in the middle, I'm going to draw a line across. Okay, so this is the start of the leg. So from the side here, where this body comes down, I'm going to draw a curve that goes pretty much straight down for the front part of one leg. I'll come inside here and draw a line that sort of tapers out, gets a little bit thicker as I come down for the back side of the leg. I'll do the exact same thing on this side. So coming down on the back of one leg, and then back down on the front part of this leg. Kind of like that. Okay, so for the bottom, I'm going to draw the bottoms of the feet first. So here, I'm going to do an upward curve towards the front of the toe. I'm going to go to this side and do the same thing, just so I can measure out, make sure that I have the same length for both feet. From this toe here, I'm going to go up in an angle, go across, and then down in an angle towards the heel. And from this point, I'm just going to curve that in, so there's a bit of an overlap here. Let's do the same thing for this side. So up in an angle, flat top, and then come down in an angle. And from here, I'll just curve in towards that toe cap. And for the soles, over here, I'm going to come down on the front and the back. And as I go along, I'm going to draw a line across. But as I go along, I'm going to draw three little notches. So as I come along, I'll draw it up, down, or across and down. Go across a little bit, up, across and down. Go across, up, across and down. And just finish that off. Let's do the same thing for this side. So two lines on the heel and the toe. So you can start in the front or the back, but I'll start in the front here. I'll go up, across, down. Go across a little bit, up, across, down. Across, up, across, down, and then finish off that toe with that heel. Let's draw the insignia in the middle of his chest. So starting in the middle, I'm going to imagine a line coming down the middle. At the top here, I'm going to draw a line across, a flare line out, and I'm going to bring this beak in a little bit, and then come down in an angle. From this point, I'll go up towards the top of the shoulders on both sides, and then I'm going to just square off the tips. Now I'm going to come down in a V to a point in the middle, right about there. But on this side, as I go along, I'm going to draw three little notches as they come down. So aiming towards that point, I'm going to go down, one notch, two notch, three notch, and then to the point. I can go up, and just basically I'm going to mirror this, so I can just go up in the opposite direction and just draw pretty much the same thing. So there's the insignia. At these shoulder points, I'm going to come out in an angle. I'm going to come down in an angle for the shoulders, and then come in just a little bit. From here, I'm going to locate the elbow. So right about here, I'm going to have the arms come out and then into a fist, into the hips. So right about here is where one elbow is, so I'll draw a line to a point. Here, I'll draw a line to a point as well. Now I'm going to go up to this armpit, and I'm going to curve a line out. So it's shorter than this line. I'll do the same thing for this side as well. Now I'm going to draw the inside of the arm before I go into the outside. So from this point, I'm going to curve towards that hip. I'm going to leave a little bit of space for a line up, across, and then down. This is the thumb. And from here, I'm just going to do an overlap and draw a line right into that belt. Let's do the same thing for this side. So down, go up, across, and down. And I'll just draw an overlap here for the thumb. And from this point, I'm going to go down here, and go out, and then up in an angle. From this point, I'm just going to draw two short lines for the knuckles. Let's go up to the elbow. So from this point, I want to make it over to this wrist here, but as I go along, I'm going to draw a little T, or sideways angle T. At this point, I'm going to draw a line out, and go back out, and then draw a line to finish that off. Now here, from this wrist, I can just aim towards that point underneath, and then draw two little dividers. do the same thing here. So going out and in. I'll draw 2 knuckles. At this point I'll come down and I'll cross that. I'm going to cross. This is a little bit shorter than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. Cross and then dividing that into 2. Finishing that off there. Now I'm going to imagine the hair coming down, because this is the background layer, so this gets drawn behind the body. I'm going to imagine this line coming down and continuing from that ear down, and basically I just wanted to create a swoop. So come down right about here. I'll do a hard curve up. I'll curve down and up towards the back of the head, down and up. And that's pretty much it. There we have it. There's Nightwing from Teen Titans Go. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please tell your friends and share this video. We'll see you again soon.